Welcome to another edition of the OG Wisdom Podcast. I'm your host, Brother Tad, joined by my co-host, Sister Keisha, and our brother C. Gutter is out on assignment handling some serious community business that we'll let him discuss next week back on the show. But we're going to bring you the hottest conversation happening across Black media, social media, and of course, what's also known as the African Diaspora. Today, we're asking a simple question that has sparked a very complicated debate. Why are some members of our FBA community criticizing Godfrey? Now, before we get started, let's make one thing clear. This conversation ain't about attacking Godfrey until you get all the facts, see if it's warranted or not. It's definitely not about attacking us as an FBA family. It's not about creating more division amongst Black people. Our goal today is understanding. Our goal is for wisdom. For those who may not know, Godfrey is one of the most recognizable comedians and commentators in the Black media today. Over the years, he has spoken on race, culture, politics, history, immigration, and the relationship between Black Americans and the broader African diaspora. Now, recently, comments he made has generated a strong reaction from many within our FBA family, while others have defended him and praised his perspective. But the truth is, the discussion is bigger than Godfrey. This conversation touches on identity, history, and it touches on lineage, the culture belonging to us, and the respect. It raises questions about who gets to tell our story, who benefits from the sacrifices of our ancestors, and how different communities relate to one another in the modern world of Blackness. Now, can FBA advocate for their specific historical and political interests without being labeled divisive? Can Pan-African unity exist while also acknowledging the unique experiences of the foundational Black American lineage of slavery? Do we spend too much time debating one another and not enough time building solutions for our communities? These are the questions we want to explore today. And here on the OG Wisdom Podcast, we don't claim to have all the answers. What we do believe is that honest dialogue is necessary. We believe difficult conversations are often the conversations worth having. And we believe that wisdom comes from listening, learning, and challenging our assumptions. So whether you're FBA, Pan-African, African, Caribbean, or whatever you identify yourself as, or simply somebody interested in understanding these issues, we invite you into this conversation. Put your thoughts in the chat, but keep it respectful, keep it intelligent, and most importantly, keep it honest. This is the OG Wisdom Podcast, where we deal with real issues, real people, and real conversations. Let's get into it. Peace, family, peace. Sister K Fighter, when you ready, you give me the thumbs up, sis. Peace, sis. How you feeling today?
Good, brother. Glad to be Black on the OG Wisdom Podcast. What's happening?
Oh man. Let me tell you, sis. Shout out to our sister Brooke and our brother Divine. Shout out to our C Gutter again. He's out on assignment right now. Man, this conversation, I found myself yelling at my screen, listening to Godfrey and David. What was his last name? David O. I'll just call him David.
Yellow or whatever.
Yeah, man. The disrespect or perceived disrespect depends on your perspective. Mm-hmm. Oh man. That conversation has struck a chord with a lot of foundational Black Americans, even with some other African people. Shout out to Poetic Flacco, who chimed in and felt that Godfrey needed a little chastising, which was well warranted, sis. But before we get started, I want to shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out to our brother James Dog 007. Shout out to our brother Tiger 121, always holding us down. The Queen, Phenomenal Sylvia 157. We appreciate you. The life always holding us down. Our brother Hate. Our brother New York. And shortly, we should be joined by our sister Brooke and our brother Divine. But sis, what was your thoughts when you seen the video?
Well, I only watched part of it because my head was getting hot and my blood pressure was starting to rise. So I had to cut it off. But I saw the initial a comment that David Aiello made as it relates to Black Americans and, our particular dialect. Something that he described when playing a part. And he talked about having, his Nigerian accent. And then he started to lower his voice, deepen his voice. And he said that this is what our accent sounds when it's, a little subservience, a little slavery in there, and that's where our dialect comes from. And, Akbar and Godfrey were the hosts or are the hosts, but neither of them checked him on that disrespect. In fact, they chuckled about it and, added some other jokes to it, which was, crazy.
Yeah. I found it very disrespectful as well. And I'm trying to find the video right now so that we can share with the community. I want y'all to bear with me 1 second because I found it totally disrespectful too. I think it's hard to put it, right, sis? Because I do have brothers and sisters from the continent that I do respect, some that do get it. But this blatant anti-Black American sentiment that exists, and I'm glad Poetic Flacco covered it. I think it does more harm than good, but this is what we talk about as foundational Black Americans when we talk about the disrespect. Godfrey once positioned himself as a quote-unquote ally to foundational Black Americans, but I think this is crazy. Let me just pull up this video. Let me pull up this video real quick. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna play this sister video. Shout out to her, Jasmine Flowers. All right. Share.
Southern accent? Listen to this.
How about Southerner?
You know what happens to Southerners? You take the Nigerian accent like this, and you slow it down. You put a lot of slavery in there.
Facts.
And then you start to put a little bit of subservience in it. This is what starts to happen to the Nigerian accent.
So you mean to tell me your preparation for playing the esteemed civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. in the film Selma, that you approached that method acting with slavery and subservience in mind? This is from the same man who produced Nina Simone, the film that starred Zoe Saldana, our prosthetic nose, and Mac Studio Mac Foundation in the shade NW65. It should be noted that Southern dialects vary by region. We don't all speak the same. Somebody from Atlanta won't sound like somebody from Memphis, Alabama, New Orleans. It's reductive. It ignores the complexity, resilience, cultural influence, and regional diversity of Black Southern communities. And also, it's effing wrong. Let me know what you guys think.
Sis, what do you think? And you know what? I totally forgot about the Nina Simone movie because, needless to say, I didn't watch it.
Mm-hmm. Neither did I.
I forgot all about that movie. And I didn't know he had a hand in it, but it explains a lot. But what's your thoughts, real quick, sis?
Well, if he wanted to study Dr. King for playing that role, he should have studied Vernon Johns. Because Vernon Johns, there was nothing subservient about him. In fact, he was so forceful with his preaching and politics and economic prowess that the board of that church sat him down and brought in Dr. King, who they thought would be a little bit milder, but they didn't know where he was going to take it. So they got what they was asking for. Now, his production company is partnered with, what's his name? Nate Parker. So you are full well the American experience. And if you don't, It is your responsibility as a producer, filmmaker, and an actor to study all aspects of the role in which you're playing. Now, that's not what I'm saying. That's what the best actors who are foundational Black Americans say, such as Denzel Washington, Samuel Jackson, Angela Bassett, Terrence Howard. They said that you have to study that part in all aspects of the part in order to play that role. So I don't buy any of that. The problem is when people come to these shores, they adopt the mindset that we are less than. And I don't give anybody a pass when he says, or they say, well, they didn't know. You know enough to get here, then you should know enough to study the place in which you plan to reside. So I don't buy that. And we have to stop allowing people leeway and accepting, well, they just didn't know. That's no longer acceptable. We live in a technological age. And if you don't know anything, you can find out quickly anything that you want to know. So I'm not buying that. It was blatant disrespect. He thought he can get away with it. He felt comfortable amongst other Nigerians. And I'm not saying all Nigerians feel this way, but they are far and too few. The same with the Caribbean. They don't say nothing when their people are out of pocket like this. They don't hold live spaces, chastising their own folks. They don't hold live spaces, letting their own folks know that they are out of line and out of pocket. So, they just want to keep quiet and continue or have this belief that we will continue to just sit on the sideline and be quiet. That day is over.
Now, sis, you mentioned some prominent Black actors, foundational Black American actors, Samuel Jackson, Angela Bassett, Denzel Washington. Why do you think their voices are being silenced since they spoke about this publicly? What's your thoughts on that?
That's just it. They spoke about it publicly. Samuel Jackson, most notably, talked about how, it's kind of strange that the American Film Institute will go outside of America for someone to play a part of someone who is American. That's just insane. But again, they will not fight against the system. Black actors on these shores have fought against the Hollywood system so that they can have equal footing. If you look at the situation with BAFTA, David Aiello is British, a British Nigerian. He didn't say anything when Delroy Lindo and Michael Jordan was disrespected. He said nothing. So, I'm not giving him a pass or anybody else a pass. Either you're on call with us or you're not. And if you're not, that's fine. Just move out of the way or you're going to get run over. That's it.
Yeah, I found it disingenuous from a conversation that Godfrey had with a sister who called and checked him. And Godfrey exclaimed, "You're not my parents. You can't tell me what to say or do," or something in that vein. And we'll pull that video up later. But what I found ironic is, Godfrey, you call yourself chastising the community that actually supported you, because as foundational Black Americans, at one point, some of us viewed you as an ally because you were bringing proper context to continental Africans who didn't understand our story in your admittance that African people look at foundational Black Americans as less than. And I thought it was disingenuous of him, because as opposed to having a conversation for understanding, as the sister called and said she do support him, her ex-boyfriend was Nigerian. Again, here's evidence that we did not look at African people outside of us as family, like maybe a brother, sister, or cousin. We still considered them family. But what we're noticing as we get to know some of these people more intimately, they view us different and as less than, and they reach up to the level of whiteness. Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't David O married to a white woman? So it always begs the question that we have in the community of being foundational Black American. You can't preach Black but sleep white. What's your thoughts on those positions?
Well, that is, it can be contradictory. especially when you're making comments like that. You are not, as you said, talking black and sleeping white, but in support of us, you're talking black and sleeping white with disrespect. That's a problem. That's a problem. And someone once said that if you want to know what black folks really think, put them in a room of white folks and ask them questions and see how they respond. And so he's not gonna be disrespectful to the woman he lays with and had children with. He got to come back home to that. So just like I said before, a lot of immigrants feel they can beat up on us, but they won't beat up on the alleged colonizer. He's not talking about that, and neither do 154, right, which is the name of Godfrey and Akbar's podcast show. They don't go hard on white aggressionists. They don't do that. They make most of their content talking about us or cosplaying us. Stand 10 toes down on your Nigerian shit. Go ahead. See how far that gets you. It's not going to go far. Yeah. There's nobody checking for it.
And I found it disrespectful when David O says, in terms of creating the Southern accent, you put some subservience on it. Subconsciously, that's just saying we view ourselves at a level lower than white folks or anybody else for that matter. He said you slow it down and you put, I thought that was so disrespectful. And Godfrey know better because he spoke previously on what has happened to us through slavery, Jim Crow, the civil rights movement, and all of these historical things. And what I find ironic, sis, that I want you to speak to as well, when people who aren't foundational Black Americans talk about Black achievements around the world, they always come back to what foundational Black Americans have done, whether it was Malcolm X, Dr. King, whoever, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, you name it. They attach themselves to our historical contributions to world history, but then deny us our identity in the fact that we should claim our own identity, practicing self-determination. Well, do you see that as a contradiction, or are they within their right to claim our history but deny us our identity?
It's a contradiction. And it's part of the grand scheme of how they see us through the eyes of those who colonize them. They see us the same way. So they feel, and it's a bit of jealousy, because even with all of them who have come to the United States to make it its home, or went to Britain to make it, or Canada to make it their home, they still have not leveled up to the greatness of who we are. Whether it's culture, whether it's inventions, whether it's business, they have never leveled up. And you can combine all of them together. All of the countries on the continent of Africa, all of the countries of the Caribbean and South America, and you still can't compete with us. We're still light years ahead of you. So, when you look in a mirror and you say, well, dang, I got to play these people who are greater than me. How can I, bring them down a peg? And this is the attitude, just with people in everyday life. I've heard many of Africans who said, well, my parents didn't want us hanging around y'all, things of that nature. Or my parents didn't want us to date any of y'all, because they see us as less than, and also at the same time jealous of the greatness that we are. And I tell this story, when I was in high school, I was a peer tutor. So students who were failing in English, I would peer tutor with them to help them get to grade level. And it was one Caribbean sister who I was good friends with in high school. She had failed 2 semesters. So they paired her with me, and I went home with her to help her develop study and techniques that will help her to get up on grade level a little bit faster. And when her mother came home from school, she looked me up and down, and questioned her daughter in front of me. Who is this? Why is she here? So the daughter said, she's my peer tutor. She's helping me. She's your peer tutor? Yeah, because I'm an A student and your kid is dumb. That's why. That's why. But you know, the system was
I'm an A student and your child is dumb.
Dumb as a box of rocks. So, you know, and I saw my friend or the person I was tutoring, you know, disappointed in what her parents were saying. But again, this is the culture that they have. You know, they think they're smarter than us. They know more than us, but you don't know enough to fix your homeland. That's crazy to me. All that Godfrey, Akbar, and Ayello have done, Nigeria is still a dumping ground.
Where all my scamming ass hitters at. Spin that shit. Spin that shit. So it's funny now because we see a lot of conversation revolving around TPS. You know, that's specifically for Haitians, not so much as Nigerians, but when we talk about immigration, sometimes we have to lump them in there. Why do they think they're doing so much better than us? Because that's something I constantly hear coming from particularly Nigerians, because we know Africa is bigger than Nigeria, but for some reason, Nigerians posture themselves as the leader of Africa. Out of all African nations, Nigeria postured themselves as the most successful, most productive, and that is to be argued. But why do you think they're doing better than us? And as you stated earlier, you know, combine all of these nations together, they still can't compete with what we've contributed to the world, let alone an economic prowess, I should say, in terms of more millionaires, billionaires. We have them beat in so many areas of success. Why do they think they have us beat?
It's jealousy. I'm telling you, it's jealousy. I'm telling you that. It is pure jealousy. Because like I said, with the student I was paired with to help, you know, this Black American, you know, is doing better than you. And they only look at us from a negative aspect, right? That's why Godfrey said, you know, well, I got stopped by the cops too. I don't get stopped by the police. I don't drive. So what you talking about? What you talking about here? You know, we all don't live in ghettos. We all don't live in projects. You know, most of the people I know own their own home. So what you talking about here? What are you talking about? Who are you talking about? You know, but then this is where they go to. You know, this low vibration attitude. You know, I know people in the projects who are doing better than these immigrants. You're getting welfare. You're going to the hospital, ain't paying for health care. You're getting food stamps. You're getting set-asides. You're getting free legal help. You got politicians who are trying to break the law to help you stay in this country. And you got 4 days to get up out of here because ICE is coming.
Oh, you said 4 days?
4 days. It's up and it's stuck.
All right. So let me ask you, because there's some people who I haven't seen much of them. A lot of people been disappointed about Godfrey's statements as well as mine. But publicly, he's credited Black Americans for our contribution. You know, I've seen him challenge anti-Black American rhetoric before. Why now do you think he's in agreement? As somebody said in the chat, you know, when David O was talking crazy, Godfrey yelled out facts. He would say that he wasn't in support of that those wasn't his words. But when you state facts, you're in agreement with it. You didn't give any pushback. You didn't offer an alternative perspective. What do you think happened with him that he is now in support of the rhetoric that's anti-Black American?
Well, as you said, you know, there were times when he did speak in favor of the greatness that we are. Because he can't say the same for Nigeria. You can point to 1 or 2, 3 things. You know, we got 50, 60,000 patents. It's no comparison. So that's why I'm saying, you know, you can't, you know, talk some things and then hide your hand when you're in front of your people. Because like I said, they get amongst their clan and they feel a particular way. They think it's okay. And they're not supposed to be chastised. And that's one thing about this delineation movement. We are calling each other to the carpet. We are trying to keep each other on code. And we're not letting things slide anymore. We've been doing that for too long, and they feel comfortable. That's why he said facts. Oh, and now you are free. Knock it off. Knock it off.
Oh man, sis, in that contradiction, and I almost forgot that point. He said, "Now you are free." One historical fact that we got to acknowledge is that foundational Black Americans were emancipated before Nigeria was even colonized. So we've been free, quote unquote, pseudo freedom, regardless of how you identify what freedom is and what we call it. We were free longer than y'all, still not free with that mindset, but you were colonized in 1884, I believe, 1885, whatever it was, the Berlin Conference, whatever year the Berlin Conference was, your territory was carved out and colonized, and we were already flourishing with our Black communities after Reconstruction. Because of segregation laws, we had our own community, and we were well-to-do. But I think this is something that you should research yourself, because in 1865, we were emancipated. And it wasn't by the benevolence of what the tall dude named Abraham Lincoln. It was because we fought for our freedom. It was because the countless revolutions that we had. It was astute organizing, strategy, and planning. Remember when Harriet Tubman was up and down the Underground Railroad, which she did not invent, she was bringing people back and forth, and slavery was still legal. And she risked her life and limb. She wasn't a coward. She didn't flee. Though she created a settlement in Canada, that was after she was free. And that's because she was moving people to Nova Scotia and the places like that who wanted to get out of America. But she did not flee, is my point. Unlike so many people running to America, running to Britain, and the likes. But somehow you want to call us subservient when we have a history of resisting and fighting and have the most influential culture in world history. And only reason why Pan-African and African history and knowledge is so popular and prevalent is because of foundational Black Americans, because we will not negate the contributions of the Honorable Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Amos Wilson, who made African information and knowledge popular when many of you people didn't know your contributions to the world. Let's please get that clear. I just had to put that out there because when Godfrey said, "Now we are free, freedom," I thought that was so disingenuous, and it thumbed the nose in the history of our foundational Black American freedom fighters. Because when the question was asked of Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman, when did you know you were a slave? They said, "I never felt like a slave," which means they never identified with slavery. And when you check the historical records, they did not die with the status of a slave. So, yes, sis, I'm gonna get off my soapbox because you're the historical encyclopedia in this panel. But I had to put that out there because I thought Godfrey knew better. But it's only so long a fake thug could pretend,
Just for clarity, Tad and I are sitting in front of books. We read for real. This is not a game for us. Yeah. We read for real. For real, for real. So I don't want, because, in the other video clip that he did on his other podcast, when he talked about, he met with Minister Louis Farrakhan and, Francis Cress Welsing and Stokely Carmichael, our resume is longer than that, Godfrey. So what you talking about?
I was about to tell him again, sis.
Our resume of knowing the greats is way longer than yours, partner. You was in Chicago. Those greats flourished here in New York. We literally sat at their feet. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Literally. This sister here is a direct student of the attorney at war, the right Alton Maddox. May he rest in peace. This is his student. She hosted so many of your favorite Pan-African teachers and lecturers, and even challenged some of their position to give them a new perspective, because sometimes these people grow old and they age and they become slightly out of touch. Let's be honest, that happens with all people nationalities, religions, ethnicities, cultural expression groups, whatever it is, it happens. But our sister right here has often been in position to challenge the thinking and help them upgrade their thinking, upgrade their database. Because a lot of you people are running around with antiquated information. So when people try to name drop like that means something, it does not. I often tell people, I came into this movement through Dr. Khalid Muhammad personally. Met him in the corner store. We exchanged numbers. He called me, told me who to hook up with till he come back to New York. We did that and we locked in. I was behind closed door meetings and strategy sessions. I walked with some of the modern contemporary greats. Shout out to Kaba Kamene, Professor Anthony Browder and the likes. And some people you may like, some people you may not like. I sat at the feet of Dr. Ben. Like, I mean, come on. And ask personal, important questions. These things we're talking about. So when Godfrey talks about meeting with Minister Louis Farrakhan, yeah, that's cool. That's nice. I haven't personally met Minister Louis Farrakhan, but I'm going to tell you a little secret. One time, Farrakhan was coming to New York, and Farrakhan tapped the rapper Papoose on the shoulder like, yo, I want to meet you. Papoose reached out to me like, yo, the minister want to meet me. Come with me. I told the job, I got somewhere to go important. Of course, met out on Nostrand and Fulton, and the FOI was like, letting nobody get close to Farrakhan except Papoose. I said, now we together. Like, all right, bro, and locked in. I respect that. But name dropping is nothing. What is your record in the community? What have you done? That's a little trophy sisters in Harlem gave me, celebrate our brother for the community work I've done. Plus, I got other stuff, but it ain't about the kudos and accolades of me personally or Sister Keisha personally. It's about agitating the consciousness of you in the audience to give you information so you can practice discernment and stop falling for this bullshit, because all kinfolk ain't all skinfolk ain't kinfolk. And we know that within our personal family. Some of us don't see eye to eye with our brothers and sisters, our cousins, our aunts, uncles. Some people may not get along with their parents. Thank God I do. I get along with my family. But I understand when people don't, because everybody's not in alignment, and we got to stop creating this false kumbaya narrative. So when Godfrey came through, like he was on, like he was so pro-Black American, because I rock with him. I felt him, Sister Keisha, and we got our brother Devon in the green room, right? Bring him in shortly. But I rocked with him because he had an honest conversation a lot of times, similar to my man B, who I think B is in the chat also. But when you come from the continent of Africa and you come to America as a child, you get teased here in America. But then when you go back to the continent, you get teased for being Americanized. So many people from the continent who grew up in America, they understand because they get this Black history, because they're not on the continent, so they're not getting continental history. They're here in America. They're learning the contributions to not just developing and building America, but what Black Americans have contributed to the world, so they can have an honest perspective. And many times they are honest about it because their parents didn't grow up in America. They may be first generational Americans. And by all intents and purposes, they identify as Black, AKA a Black American. And this is why the word foundational is so important, because your lineage, our lineage, goes back to the South. It goes back to the plantation. It goes back to the cotton fields and the sugarcane plantation and the tobacco fields and the likes. And some of us could trace our family back further than that. So when we talk about foundational Black Americans and people find it divisive, there's a debt that's owed to foundational Black Americans that we plan on collecting. However, if somebody owe me $5,000, you can't come out the blue and say, yo, I want a piece of that because I'm here with you. Nah, my G, you wasn't here when that debt was created. If you feel somebody owe you, go to them. This is a debt that has been recorded. This is law and policy that we're referring to. Everybody here, the 40 acres in the mill, what do you think that was about? That was a reparation claim. Some people collect it, some people don't. So now somebody owe you $5,000. They give homeboy over here his money and you don't get yours. Do you still not want your money? Because a month, 2, 5 years went by? You see that they paying. But then here come a Johnny come lately telling you can't collect, even though it's written and recorded and you seen other people get paid. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Is anything you want to add before we bring our brother Divine up in here?
No, you cooked, and I hope you got that other video queued up.
I don't have any videos queued up, sis.
All right, I'm gonna cue it up while you bring Divine on.
All right, welcome to the platform, our brother President Divine. Brother Divine, how you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed and highly favored. We Foundation Black Americans just celebrated 250 years of our unique and complicated.
Maybe you gotta pull him out and bring it back in.
I got him. He's good on my end, sis.
Well, I don't see him over here.
If y'all can see Brother Divine.
If you can see Divine on the screen, put a 1 in the chat.
Yes.
Let me see.
An elder from Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church, we love you too, and we appreciate your sacrifice. And this is why we do these things.
All right, he's there. I see him. All right.
And this is why we do these things real quick, right? Because, right, for an elder who had to live these things we've only read about, for an elder who, whenever you see somebody got a Baptist church, you got to give props, because that was our original organization spot. You know, it was the Black church, and we can't negate that. Even with our history, even with our Pan-African perspective, we were taught to denounce the church, but we forgot the value of what brought Black people as a community through those hard times. You know, so again, Elder, we definitely appreciate you and love you as well. Brother Divine, how you feeling, bro?
I'm good. I think somebody said, I don't know if they said fix my mic or fix your mic. I'm trying to see if they can hear me all right.
Yeah, I hear you clearly.
You hear me? You both hear me? Okay, good. If y'all can hear me clear in the chat, please type 1 again, just to make sure, because I know Sister Brooke was saying on one of the broadcasts I was on, the mic was sounding a little bit, afterwards it was sounding a little low. So just want to make sure I'm good. But like I was saying, okay, they can hear me good. So, like I was saying, we just finished celebrating 250 years of this unique and complicated relationship that we have with the country that our ancestors built, in the same country that we've always been day one citizens. And what's happening is that there's individuals that haven't been here anywhere close to the 250 years talking like they've been here for 300. And it's like, you got to really understand, not even on no elitist ish, right? Like, we just like, yo, you really know your place. You know what I mean? Like, if I go into somebody's crib, I'm not looking around to see what needs to be done or what needs to be fixed up, and then I'm going to try to fix it. I'm going to tell them they need to fix it, even if I see it. This is their crib. Like, I can't come in there thinking that I run the joint or that it's mine now because I'm in there, or even if I get a chance to stay the weekend or a week. And what's happening is too many people are getting way too familiar. And I think we talked about this on the bridge one time. And it's like, it's the law of I did some good things. And it's like, just because you did some good things in the past, or you might still be doing some good things right now, doesn't mean you get a free pass for disrespect. That's never how it's been. That's like me telling my moms and my pops, yo, I did my chores for this week, so I get to curse you out today.
Right.
If I live, right, they're going to say, now go do some more chores.
And take this ass whooping with you.
For real, take it with you, because you might need to remember it.
Right.
And it's like, this is, for him to even, and I don't know if y'all done played the video. I think Sister Keisha got that video queued up. So I'll go in more once that video is played. But just going into the video that we've all seen by now that has sparked this debate, he not going to be able to pretend. Like, because in the second video, I'm trying not to talk too much about it, but we're going to see what his excuse was. But we see that he was fully engaged in that conversation. Not only did he say it again.
No, what I was going to say, we'll play the video real quick and we'll come back to you.
All right, cool. Yeah, let's do that.
And let you add some layers to it. All right.
I bet. That'll work.
All right.
Because all the time, most celebrities in Hollywood don't say a goddamn thing about y'all.
we're gonna do a measure on blackness, I'll probably stomp most of you. You can eat a dick for real. I'm a tether, I'm a this, all these terms. But to just go, I'm disappointed. None of you motherfuckers are my parent. David Oyelowo has apologized, but British black people do not have a perspective of American blacks. Get it. But the fact is that these mistakes need to happen. So we can talk about it. So we can have people going, damn, I fucked up. I think David probably didn't mean it that way, but the British black experience is so different than the black American experience. He probably was like, no, it's a little subservient. They don't know any better.
I think people were responding because we appreciate the fact that, although your heritage is Nigerian, listen, I've been through all the arguments with ex-boyfriend, Nigerian, the whole nine. So I understand.
Yeah, but I grew up, first of all, I grew up in Chicago.
We were a little surprised by your reaction.
I don't give a fuck what y'all were thinking, because I didn't make him say that. I didn't say it. I didn't make him say that. So fuck all of that. Because you all sit there and try to pick at the smallest shit, waiting for us to fuck up. First of all, me and Akbar grew up in Crenshaw. All right? I grew up in Chicago, some of the blackest cities around. Chicago's the most segregated city in this country. So I know what black Americans are like, because I was stopped by cops, harassed by cops, called nigga, the whole nine. Okay, so I'm a little bit different, but that show, what our show is, it's just 9-10 months. We're doing really well. It's needed. Nothing's gonna be perfect. So when someone goes, I didn't like your reaction, you're not my fucking parent, first off. And I'm the first person, if I fuck up, I'll go, man, my bad. But David said it. So to villainize me is bullshit. That's black shit, just trying to have something to bitch about. See, what we're doing is we're trying to work out our kinks. People are traumatized. Black Americans are traumatized. Caribbeans are traumatized. Africans are traumatized. Everybody's traumatized. Black women are traumatized. Black men are traumatized. So this is all coming from trauma. And this should be a therapeutic podcast. Got to talk about these things. But to just go, I'm disappointed. None of you motherfuckers are my parent. None of you. Nobody's perfect talking shit to me. You do a podcast and do better then. But my thing is, I'm doing this for the good of all of us, to bridge a gap. And all this, you're a tether, you're a this, you can eat a dick. I'm just not talking to you, miss. I'm just saying in the general. But you can eat a dick for real. I'm a tether, I'm a this, all these terms for a bunch of traumatized black folk. It's like, first of all, I'm a very well-read man when it comes to black life. Very well-read. I've done mounds of going to see the minister, a Savior's Day, all kinds of shit. I met Stokely Carmichael. I met Francis Cress Welsing. I met all these people. Did you?
Yes.
I can question a lot of people on this.
I was in college at the same time. Let me just say real quick.
You know what I mean? If we're gonna do a measure on blackness, I'll probably stomp most of you. It's not sensitivity. It ain't sensitivity. Don't fucking ever say that to me. It's not sensitivity. It's passion, because I'm on point. I'm not here. I'm not here to make you like. Don't try to play good guy. Like, you're getting sensitive. No, this is passionate shit. And I'm real about it. When people go, you shouldn't have done, fuck all of that.
I know, but what I'm trying to tell you is you keep switching off, Godfrey. I wasn't.
What'd you say?
Like that. I'm telling you, you've always represented that.
Always, but then you get one little thing and you guys vilify.
Nah, it's not little, my G.
As much as I speak up for black women, what do you think that does to me in this business when I'm speaking up for you guys? I speak up for you motherfuckers all the time. Most celebrities in Hollywood don't say a goddamn thing about y'all. And I'm always opening my mouth for you guys. I try my best. But I do one thing. You guys just go off.
I get it. All right.
Damn, that was painful. Ow. I'm going to give you the mic, Brother Divine.
Let's have blood pressure come on down.
Godfrey, you're a bitch. You are very disrespectful. You're talking about mistakes and accountability, and you did not own it. You were in total agreement and in alignment with his position. For somebody who's supposed to know better, you proved your level of ignorance. So you're just like the rest of these Pan-African faggots. You just regurgitate shit, but you don't live in it. You do not live in it. Because if you did, you'd have understood the sister's position. She wasn't attacking you. She wasn't coming at you like that. But you're going to sit here on our platform and be disrespectful and then try to have a pissing contest, talk about you met Dr. Frances, you still ain't of the lineage, my G. And I met Dr. Frances Cress Welsing before her transition. One of her last speaking engagements in Harlem. Shout out to our brother King Simon, who's of Caribbean descent, who I don't consider a tether because he just universally loved Black folks, but he often organized that and often tried to bridge the gap and do have an understanding, though he's of Jamaican descent. But that shit you talking, I met Stokely Carmichael when I was in my 20s. I didn't have a big platform. I wasn't no celebrity. Met him on the strength that I was with Dr. Khalid, that I ran within that circle. And I was a young man learning my history, learning our story, continental history, as well as what we've done on this soil that everybody keeps running to, trying to stake claim to it. You keep leaving paradise, wherever y'all from, keep calling America Babylon and hell, and or we must be demons. And whoo, yeah, Brother Devon, take the mic because my blood pressure's through the roof, bro.
It's all good. It's all good. Get on that machine.
Damn Godfrey. Yeah. Woosah. Woosah.
And so
Woosah.
To piggyback off of what you're saying, and now getting the full context, before I even get into that, I just want to go on my little rant. Like, this is the identity crisis that the tethers have. That's what we saw just now. It was a crash out in all its glory. Because the minute the sister said, oh yeah, I understand your perspective as a Nigerian, he crashed out. Why? Because most of his life, he was able to cosplay as a foundational Black American and nobody said boo about it because he was giving small effects, small displays of camaraderie, of solidarity, of being an ally. And this is the issue that we have with even those that have been allies from some short period of time, or those that want to be allies for life. They believe that there's a pathway from ally to FBA citizenship somewhere in the cards. So which still points out that their entire performance is performative. And it's to an end that benefits them, not us. It's like if I just ally long enough, then maybe I could be foundational Black American too. And when that day never comes, here comes the crash out. Because they do not want to be a Nigerian that's an ally to Black people. They don't want to be a Jamaican that's an ally to Black people. They want to be a Jamaican, they want to be a Nigerian that's considered Black, meaning foundational Black American too. So when we have these conversations, we don't delineate between us and them. Here's the issue, though, that they're going to have for the rest of their life. I call it the Marcus Garvey Messiah complex. No matter how long you live around us, you will always be doing an interpretation of what you believe it means to be foundational Black American, because you will never be foundational Black American, period. And that's something that you got to come to terms with you, your God, your tribe, your people, whoever, your mammy. But you cannot continue to take it out on us or bring it to our doorstep and say, here, this is a problem that you have to fix because I grew up around you. I want to be you and you won't let me. That is not our issue. And like you said, here's what's also very problematic with them. Again, that identity crisis. You come here, live amongst us, get teased, but we look out for your musty ass. You go back home, they tease you, they otherize you, then they still want money from you.
Woo! Talk about it.
But you got the nerve to get up on these internet streets because you don't do it in person. Let's just be clear. You get up on these internet streets on your podcast and you blame us for all the teasing while continue to give your people in your homeland a pass, knowing that you can't go back and you don't want to go back. And then you use them teasing you to come to us as leverage and say, well, look, they look at me like a Yank. They look at me like a Tether too. They look at me like a Joppa. They look at me like an Akata. So let me just be down with y'all because they won't let me. And now that you are running up against the wall on both sides of your conflicted identity crisis life, now you're looking at us because we've always been looked at as the weakest link or the biggest heart to say, all right, just come on in, because we know what it feels like to be ostracized. So we just gonna let your Nigerian ass in. Those days are dead and gone. And now he's up against it. And so to get to, and I'm sorry for being so long with, but let me just get to what he said here. So with him lying about, oh, that was just David. David said that. David said that. No, my G, you were the one that said facts. You was the one that said, and now we are free. I didn't imagine that. That was your words. So he said it and you co-signed it. And it's worse. It's worse. It's worse coming from you. Because when somebody that's supposed to be my man comes and tells me what somebody else said about me that I already know is an open enemy, my first question is, well, what did you say?
Right.
I don't care what the enemy said. I don't care what a David Oluwelo said. He a op. He a Nigerian flea to the UK that fled to the US to take our acting gigs. I know how he thinks. But you're supposed to be the special Nigerian that grew up in Chicago. You're supposed to be blacker than the diaspora. So now I want to know what you said when he was popping his shit. Oh, but we already know what you said. You said facts, and you said now we are free. So now we free from you. We don't got to be bound to this fake-ass, performative-ass allyship that you was offering. Because at the end of the day, in this clip, you come out and say you calling black women motherfuckers, and you saying, look what I do for you. You sound like the white supremacists that said they freed us from slavery. And now we owe them some type of debt. And then I'm going to land on this because this is the part that really cooked me with this whole fake-ass comparison. Talk about I'll stomp y'all if we're doing black for black. The irony is that he built his blackness on the fact that he met with the nation, aka Minister Farrakhan, who's also an Afro-immigrant. Then he brought up Stokely Carmichael, who's also an Afro-immigrant. So my brother, 2/3 of your case talking about you're going to out-black us is built on Afro-immigrantness. You could never out-black a foundational black American because the entire identity is built on us and something we created. So you continue to be Nigerian. Let the minister continue to be the Afro-immigrant that he is. And let Stokely Carmichael and his legacy continue to be the Afro-Trinidadian that he was that fled when the block got hot.
Damn, where my gunshots at? Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. All right. I love my brother Divine. It's Sister Keisha, I want to give you the mic too, right? I'm going to give it back to you. But there's clearly a tether in the chat, right? Cry harder. Godfrey said what he said, and y'all will do nothing. Brother Divine, I need you to speak on who you are as President Divine and what is it that you are doing? Because I don't want you to think FBA is a gang or a group or some other shit.
Right. This is the problem that we have with they have these fake ass, corny ass, lame ass rebuttals because they can't challenge us on the truth of the matter. The facts will never be on their side. So it has to be lame ass deflections. See, here's what you don't know. Is that we are the only organization in the state of New York, a New York-based organization fighting specifically and solely for those of us that had ancestors that was formerly enslaved and emancipated in the U.S. So you can't you can't you're not even the same stratosphere. You lucky you're allowed to come into the group, into the comments and give this bullshit ass response. Because again, y'all do not do it in person. Because you want to know who else we are? People that pull up in person.
Ask Flatbush.
Right. Ask your brethren on Utica.
You know,
ask your brethren that's on the reparations commission. Like, stop playing with us. See, far too long we've been nice to y'all. We just didn't want to punch down. But what y'all did while we was giving you that pass, or just letting you live your life in the way that you chose to do it, is that y'all built up ethnic enclaves. See, we don't even care about a tether troll like you. and your comments is inconsequential. This is for the audience. This is for the family so that they know who we are and what we got going on so we can continue to work. Here's where what y'all do became an issue. When y'all tried to become our voice, that's one, and speak for us because y'all also melanated. And two, when y'all got into positions of power and used the fact that white supremacy was propping y'all up to undermine us in this political space. That was what the last straw was. That's why we can no longer ignore you. And that's why y'all getting put up out of here. Because the fighters are no longer coming to your rescue. So whoever you are, Mr. Wake Up Jacob, you better wake your punk ass up, because the next time you talk shit about a foundation Black American, you might just wake up in your homeland, which is a personal hell to you. Because as proud as y'all are, y'all never want to go back home. See, we're home. And though our experience here has been conflicted and unique and difficult and complicated at the same time, we're still home. Fighting for home. Because that's what real men and real women do. And y'all could never.
Yeah, I want to just give a shout out to the person, this person right here, Jules 8754. And that's why when we open this broadcast today, I said I don't want to attack, because I do got continental African brothers and sisters who get it. And here's one of the person. I don't know this person personally, maybe I do, but said we Nigerian born do not want them both. They don't represent us at all. We have issues in Nigeria and they don't even know it. They still want to feel superior with us. And see, that's what I'm talking about. Let's just have an honest conversation, because that's how we can coexist. Like I just said, I bigged up King Simon because that is my brother, and I will fight for King Simon before I fight for some FBAs, because I'm not into the gang banging thing, because what we're doing is a real historical movement that we're having, a real historical renaissance that's going on right now that many of y'all may be a part of, you may not be a part of. And I want to thank Jules 8754 for being honest. And that's all we ask for, is honesty, because that's the only way we can move forward. Because when I've been to Africa 4 times, I didn't come cosplaying, trying to insert myself in areas that I have no business in, you know? But again, Brother Divine, he said we will do nothing. Talk about the Freedmen Project.
Yeah, we already doing something. Yeah. So the U.S. Freedmen Project is a nonpartisan organization dedicated to reestablishing and resurrecting the abandoned missions of the Freedmen Bank and the Freedmen Bureau. The last time our class of people, foundational Black Americans, aka American freedmen, have had specific policies dedicated and designed to ensure that we experience the full benefits of our citizenship. That citizenship that we've had since day one, that the white supremacists have been trying to undermine and take away since day zero. And so with that, and here's what we found, and this is the real issue, and for me, why I come onto these platforms while I'm, having these conversations, obviously to learn from you guys, but what we're understanding now is that the U.S. Freedmen Project is needed. This delineation movement is needed because, as our sister Keisha said on the record a long time ago at the same reparations commissions hearings that we pull up to, all of our legacy organizations, all of our Pan-African organizations are compromised. And so what we've been having over the past 250 years are white supremacist elevated spokespersons for our lineage that have been put in place to ensure we get zero of the benefits that come with our citizenship. And what Pan-Africanism helped left-wing white supremacy usher in was an upgrade, because he says that in that second clip later on down the line, he says that David is the upgrade, that we're like the iPhone 5 and David is like the iPhone 17.
Whoa.
So he says that. But here's what that upgrade really means, is that white supremacy said, well, why do we need to elevate still other foundational Black Americans as the underminers, where we can import cheap knockoffs from around the world, label them African American, and we could prop them up so that nobody from the lineage benefits, even if they're doing it to undermine the rest of them, because we want to make sure that none of them get put on. Because here's what they found with even the coons that we have amongst us in our lineage, is that somewhere down the line, they're going to wake up to say, damn, I'm undermining my mama and them. the ancestors going to reach out to them and whoop their ass. And they're going to be like, shit, I'm conflicted. Even if this is the last thing I do, even if this means the end of my life, I've been cooning all of it, but here's what I'm going to do now. AKA Clarence Thomas. And so what happens when you elevate the tethers, they never have that moment of clear conscience because they do not and never have identified with us as a lineage and as a people group. That's the dirty little secret of Pan-Africanism. That they have never viewed us as one people. Hell, they have never viewed everybody on the continent as one people that need to unite based on Africanness. There are 3,000 plus different, distinct, and separate ethnic groups and tribes with over 3,000 different, distinct, and separate cultures and traditions that they practice. Our brother OG Tad told us there's a ceremony, I believe it's in Ghana, you could correct me if I'm wrong.
Bigada, yes, in Ghana.
Where the warring tribes have an anniversary of coming back together and say, hey, look, we have beef or we want to keep this treaty or this truce going. Let's not go back to what we was before. Now, even though that's admirable, that is a goddamn shame that y'all all in the same country and y'all got to have an anniversary of a truce instead of saying, yo, we all Ghanaians. We shouldn't even have this ceremony no more because from this point forward, or the last ceremony that y'all ever have should be, look, at this point forward, we all Ghanaians. We don't even got to honor that or experience or even acknowledge that anymore because, yo, that's it. We're uniting against the colonizing powers. We're uniting against these Asians that's coming in. We're uniting against these Indians that's coming in. They have never even done that and got the nerve to name a potential unifying movement African when Africans, actual Africans, have never been, nor will they ever be united based on some universal identity of Africanness. It's the shit. I mean, it's like one of the worst psyops that has ever been ran. And foundational Black Americans and this delineation movement is finally purging the rest of that bullshit out of our system. And if you've ever done a detox before, and I'm landing here, they will always tell you that when you detox, it gets worse before it gets better. And so for when we're detoxing from Pan-Africanism and this blanket blackness, when you have a Godfrey talking about, oh yeah, we all mess up, but I'm doing this for the good of all of us. You don't got the right to do the good for anything for all of us, especially not foundation Black Americans, as a Nigerian. And like Jules told us, if you're going to do something that's for the benefit of all, do it for the benefit of all Nigerians, because y'all got way too many problems that y'all need to address before you try to get us roped into that bullshit and say, let's unite with each other. And you know your whole crew ain't united. That's a recipe for disaster because we already come unified, well, more unified than y'all have ever been. So why would you try to rope in function with dysfunction?
My brother. And the name, you're 100% right, brother Devon. The name of the ceremony is every August. It's called Asafo Tufiyami, Warriors Gunfiring. That's what it is, where they have mock guns, mock muskets actually, and bust them in the air to replicate the war. You know, and again, it is to reinforce the treaty they have from when they were all warring against one another. And as we can see, Nigerians and Ghanaians still aren't unified because the Ghanaians are kicking Nigerians out, Nigerians kicking Ghanaians out of their country. So until then, because and it's comments like this, right, that I love. You can't be the stupid FBA. Why I love it? Because all you're doing is proving our point. The level of ignorance. You're in the FBA space. I do not go in African or Afro-Caribbean spaces and state my position. This is my platform. This is our platform. Me, Brother Devon, Sister Keisha, C. Gutter, Sister Brooke. This is our platform. This is the Foundational Black Americans platform. We talk about diverse things because we're a diverse group here within the country of the USA. We're diverse. There's a cultural difference between New Yorkers and Californians and Northerners and Southerners. We acknowledge that. We embrace that. You know, I don't claim to be from Florida because I'm not. We're diverse as Chicago is from New York. And speaking of Chicago, back to Godfrey, who act like he's FBA, when he said eat a private part, as a person who grew up in America, you should know those are fighting words when you invite someone to your private area. So you telling FBAs eat a, so that means you trying to say it's on site. You from Chicago, you know what it's up mean. You know what it's on site mean. Or you gonna cop a plea and apologize and say violence has no place and we spoke. Nah, fuck that. Because as FBA, you know we with all the smoke. Ask Malcolm. Ask Nat Turner. Ask Robert F. Williams. We with it. So please stop it. This is the OG Wisdom Podcast, not the YG, not the scared G's. We from that. This is a Brooklyn-based platform, homie. Bed-Stuy, Fort Greene, Crown Heights, Brownsville. This is that. Please stop the level of disrespect because it was painful to watch, to be honest with you. And I'm glad your tethers came in to echo your sentiments because all it does is prove our point about why we're delineated. But while y'all say we will do nothing, we are not you. You do nothing. That's why you left. This is why you're here, to cosplay us, to act like you're us. But you're not us. You can never be us. And it ain't even about that. It's about that. Foundational Black Americans were already here working on something, thinking we had an ally in our Afro-Caribbeans and continental brothers and sisters, but learning that you're opening the back door for the enemy to come in and sabotage all our efforts. So this is why you're getting called out, because President Devon is the president of the Freedmen Project. Do you know what the Freedmen Project is? I'm glad you asked, but I'll let Devon touch on that as well, because this is his field of expertise. There's things that's already going on here, movements we have in place, laws and policies that we are working on that you are literally sabotaging. And if we had tethers here back in the 60s, y'all asses wouldn't have been here because y'all would have sabotaged that. Because it's because of the efforts of foundational Black Americans that y'all are able to come over here en masse. Let's be clear. So don't say we don't do nothing. You don't do nothing. You don't know your history. You don't know this history. All you know is feel-good moments. You just want to come over here and cosplay the ignorance that you ingested in the media of what Blackness is here in America. So when we look at crime statistics, when we look at it, a lot of it is y'all under the blanket identity of Blackness. But I'm off my soapbox. Sister Keisha, you've been kind of quiet. Sis, what's going on over there?
I'm letting y'all cook. And laughing at these tethers and pan goofies in the comments because nobody talked about the divisiveness when they speak bad about us. When the U.S. Freedmen Project sent letters asking for letters of support for our lineage-based reparation from those continental Africans and Caribbean organizations here in the state of New York, and they didn't even give them a response. But that's not divisive. When I was outside in the goddamn heat with 3 other FBA sisters getting signatures to stop the most powerful man on the planet at that time, who essayed a Senegalese woman, a French, one of the powerful men of the IMF at that time, essayed a Senegalese woman. Foundational Black Americans stopped him from fleeing New York so he could stand trial. Now ask me, what has not the Senegalese group, but one Senegalese done for us? Nothing. Not a thing. When we were out there stomping the yard for Amadou Diallo, what has their people done for us? Nothing. Nothing. It was us in the 80s and the 90s who advocate for Haitians to come over here. You look crazy on a raft in the middle of the ocean. We advocated for you. Now ask me, what have you done for us? Nothing. When it comes to Pan-Africanism, we held the line. Not an African nation, an African group did a goddamn thing for Black Americans. And I don't care what you people say. I don't know Tariq Nasheed. I never met him in my life, but I do know my family. I do know my lineage, and I stand by that. So I don't care what Gerald Horn or anybody else says. For that,
and we had Gerald Horn on the platform, and he ain't say he ain't like us. He said, "Get your shit together." We had Gerald Horn too, so please stop.
None of y'all are living in Africa that you so love so much, waiting for them to unite. South Africa while they kicking out the Nigerians. Are you crazy? Are you deaf, dumb, and blind? You must be. So get out of the way, move out of our way, because you're gonna get run over like the rest of y'all. And after this TPS stance is done, they're coming for the rest of you, and nobody's gonna be able to save you. Get out of our politics. Mind your business. I know plenty of Black Americans who left the U.S. now live abroad in Africa, in the Caribbean, in South America, and you can't find one who interjected themselves in the politics of that nation to undermine the people of that nation. We can't say the same here. You got Africans, Latinos, Caribbeans, all up and through U.S. politics, and they are undermining Black Americans every chance they get. But y'all don't call that divisive. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
And it's always okay. Go ahead, brother Tad.
I was just laughing at the comments, the level of ignorance, and I love it. I love it. Because this gets recorded. This is for the record. 6 months, a year, 5 years later, come back, watch the video, look at your comments to see how ignorant you are. We've never set foot in a collegiate level environment. My G, we teach some of your favorite scholars and lecturers and professors. But again, here it goes, right? And I'm gonna pass the mic to you, Brother Divine.
Yeah.
But just thinking that a Eurocentric, quote unquote, learning institution validates your level of intelligence, show how dumb you are.
Come on.
Because when we talk about freedom fighters, there's very few that had a quote unquote formal education. And to quote the great collegiate scholar, one of the first Black Harvard grads, the father and founder of Black History Month, which later came to be Black History Month, started Black History Week, came Black History Month. The right Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who is a foundational Black American, he said, in this life, man gets two educations: one that's given to him, and one he gives himself, and the latter by far is greater. You get two educations, one that's given to you, and one you give yourself, and the latter by far is greater. Now I'm gonna let you decipher that, doctor don't know shit, because I always find it funny when people really think, and they're under the assumption that I don't have an education, because that does not validate who I am. And I'm very intelligent. You see, those are not sneakers behind me. Those are not sneakers. Those are not movies. Those are African-centered books, believe it or not. You name it, whether it's Carter G. Woodson. Somebody said Kwame Nkrumah went to school in America before the Civil Rights Movement. Exactly. Because notice,
right.
Nana Asachi for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah went back to free Ghana because of what foundational Black Americans were doing when he was in America. He did not see nothing like that in Africa. So yeah, to our point, we are the culture. We are the influence, even amongst your leaders. So thank you for proving our point. To bring up Nana Asaje for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, much respect to him. But yeah, you're not talking to no dummies, my G. Go YouTube or Google some shit. I'm an old head. You don't see the grades? I learned this shit before there was an internet. What are you talking about? When you had to go to libraries and bookstores to get this stuff. As my sister Keisha said, we were in the streets fighting the police for continental Africans who wasn't standing by our side. Whether it was Amadou Diallo and the likes. So please stop it. Were the Haitians rioting for the death of little Gavin Cato in Crown Heights fighting the small hats?
And it was the Caribbeans that capitulated to the hats. They gave in because they didn't want to fight no more. They said, "Oh, it's too much." They didn't want to fight. When you let this hat unalive your babies in front of you, you did nothing. You did nothing. We stood 10 toes down. We are the fighters, and you know it. That's why you're mad, because you can no longer lean into our legacy anymore. We're forcing you to stand on your wrong. Go home. Fight on your homeland, on your soil. Fight there. You mad? Fight there. We got it over here. We don't need your help. That's why you leaning in the comments. Nobody knows you.
Yep. And I want to add too, because this is more recent. I was just arguing with another Jamaican tether the other day when Akai Gurley was murdered by Peter Liang. See, because they keep talking about, oh, look what the Asians are doing to you. Look what the whites are doing. What did y'all do? Because Akai Gurley is Caribbean. What did the Caribbean community and all y'all power and all y'all numbers in Brooklyn alone, what did y'all do when Akai Gurley was murdered in the pink houses by Officer Peter Liang? Y'all didn't do shit. It was foundational Black Americans that got out there and stomped the yard once again. Like, we got it. Like, listen, there's a brother in the chat. I think his name is Picasso or something like that. I forgot what his name is. It's Picasso something. And this is what everybody's mad at. And this is what you tethers can't stand. And I'm gonna get to y'all in a second. He mentioned that he works at LaGuardia, and his boss or supervisor, I don't want to say boss, his supervisor is Haitian. And he was saying he wasn't understanding that dynamic. Like, why is there even some hate or some jealousy coming my way? And this is what the delineation movement has exposed. Not only has it exposed the anti-Black bigotry, racism, and xenophobia that Afro-immigrants bring with them from their homelands against foundational Black Americans, it highlighted that when a Picasso comes and says that, then a Divine, a brother Tad, a sister Keisha can then say, oh, wait, hold on. I had a similar experience. And all of a sudden, us coalescing around our ethnic group of being foundational Black American, and we're having conversations amongst our ethnic group. Now we're starting to see patterns emerge. That at the same time we see what the white supremacists are doing, and we see what the Asians are doing, and we see what the Arabs are doing, and we see what the Hispanics are doing, we can now see clearly what you Caribbeans and what you continental Africans are doing. Far too many of y'all hid behind melanin and the religion of Pan-Africanism. Now that is falling away, we can see clearly now that the bushmeat is gone. And when we see you for who you fully are, in your full and final forms, we can see that you are just as anti-Black as all these other groups that we already knew were our open enemy. And so you have just been added to the list so that you can become another notch on the belt of foundational Black Americans that have always fought for inclusivity and justice. And now we're just saying, you know what, that whole justice for all thing, that was sapping our energy and keeping us on the bottom because the all were all united against us. So now it's just, we gonna get our justice, and we still don't wish any ill will upon you for just being an Afro-immigrant. Or if you a tether, oh, you deserve everything you gonna get. But if you're not a tether and you still are an Afro-immigrant in this country, all we're saying is the same way we getting our justice for us, you got to go get your justice for you. Because like Muhammad Ali said, if we believe that, and I'm paraphrasing, we know a whole bunch of white folks are snakes, but some of them aren't. But am I going to sit there as the snakes are bearing down on me and try to pick and choose which one's a good one, which one's a bad one? No, I'm going to make sure I'm safe. And then from my safety position, I can now start to delineate amongst y'all on who's the good one and who's the bad ones. But what will never happen ever again is allowing you Afro-immigrants to come amongst us and be the spokespersons for our lineage. Because no one gets to speak for us ever again but us. And I want the family to look at the chat. Don't just pass them off as the goofies that they are, because they are. But I want you to notice two important things, because it's the same again. Patterns emerge, right? Patterns emerge. I want y'all to pay attention to two things. The overwhelming majority of the Afro-immigrant tether and Pan-African trolls never have a picture of. They never show their face.
Ever.
That's one. Two, if they didn't come in identifying or being blatantly obvious that they are a tether, Afro-immigrant, or Pan-African, when you read their comments, you would think that they're a white supremacist. With the things that they say, how they say it, and the racist tropes that they traffic in. Look at Comet TV right here as a perfect example. Where have we heard that talking point before?
White impressionists.
Right. Where have we seen that being depiction of our entire community as a whole? And here, and lastly, and I'll say this and take a breath because I've been talking for a while. Here's the caveat that they try to use and try to implement that's still white supremacy adjacent. They try to four-wall our ethnic group to make foundational Black Americans a group that's separate from the good Black Americans or the good African Americans. You know who does that as well? White supremacists. You ever hear them talk? You ever hear them champion that comedic set done by Chris Rock where he makes the difference between N-words and Black people? That's what these trolls are doing. They're trying to pretend that foundational Black Americans are separate from Black Americans at large. And nope, 100% of every Black American in the United States of America is foundational to this country. So you can't pull that bullshit. Now, the separation that I will give you, though, is the African American. Because African American includes you Afro-immigrants. Because here is the official definition of African American per the OMB, the census, and this U.S. government. Anyone with origins in the Black racial groups of Africa. African American is not an ethnicity, it's not a lineage, and it don't have a culture. Because it's a federally recognized racial category that encompasses many ethnic groups and many cultures and many different lineages. So when y'all try that African-American bullshit, you're just showing your hand even more because African-American as a racial category is a creation of left-wing white supremacy. And so the longer you try to push this African-American identity onto proud foundational Black Americans, because African-Americans can also be Nigerians, can also be Jamaicans, can also be Dominicans, you're just showing your hand. And to this last comment, a heart full of hate is prone to a heart attack. I ain't have one yet. You want to know why? Because it ain't hate.
Say it again.
It's clarity. And more important than clarity is self-love. And we've said this a long time, being pro-Black is not anti-white. It's just that being pro-white is anti-Black. So that's why they're in constant competition. And we found out it's the same thing. Being pro-Black is not anti-Afro-immigrant, is not anti-Pan-African, but being a bitch-ass tether and a Pan-African is anti-foundational Black American, because you need our people to not identify as such to keep your hateful ass religion going. That religion that's rooted in ethnocide. And we just not with it no more. And none of your shaming tactics can get us off our square. I'm sorry. For all you faceless trolls, y'all just gonna have to be mad. And my hold on, let me just say this. And my only advice to you is to get your musty ass a cape. So at least you could be super mad when you throw these tantrums. Because other than that, you have no superpower that's powerful enough to get us off our square. And I land there.
You know, I know Hilly Billy Negro or whatever, that person said that he or she is an immigrant, but consider it, all Black history. He said, trust me, FBA should not equal Barack Obama nation. Capitalism made us move, homie. Get to know us. But yet you fall in the belly of the greatest capitalist system and you do nothing. You're a coward and a liar. That's why you left. You didn't fight on your homeland. If you want socialism, go home and build it. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Everything that we want, no matter how long it takes us, we fight on this soil. We don't interject in what you guys have going on abroad. If you're fighting, we support you. We don't interject. Whatever you say, go on your homeland, but you don't have the respect, the same respect for us. It's what we say go, how we want to fight, not how you want to fight. Because if you had the answers, you or your parents would not have left. You would have stayed there. And you're not even going back. You've been here 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, and you still ain't go back to fix it. You still ain't go back to fix it. So knock it off. Don't start with the guilt trip over here. You're not fighting white aggression here. I don't see you outside. How many you pulled up on? Absolutely none. So knock it off. Stay out of our hearings. Stay out of the policies we are trying to set to make life better for us. Knock it off. We've had enough. And you mad. You are the gatekeepers of white aggression. You have been. That's why they would rather hire you for a lower wage, because you ain't fighting back. You ain't fighting back. Until you realize you can't live in these cities on a low salary, so now you want to have a march and a protest. Nah, stay with the low salary you came in with. The ones you said Black Americans were too lazy and didn't want to take the job. No, we were fighting for a better wage. But your coward ass mama came over here and took the job. Your coward father came over here and took the job. If you know who they are, we are representing our lineage, our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents. You don't even know the name of yours. That's why it's easy for you to flee the home where your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents are allegedly buried. Or if they are, you don't know. You don't have the lineage that we have. And it's okay. It's okay. Go home and figure it out. Could you imagine if all of us was on our soil fighting aggression? You could have got further. But you came and you leaned in. Let me get the tangibles that they fought for. Let me go to the country that they fight in. While yours is still with mounds of garbage, people booping on the street. Knock it off.
Let's welcome our sister Brooke to the platform. Sister Brooke, you come in the fourth quarter. What's going on, sis? How you feeling?
Y'all gotta call me. Y'all know I work nights, right? Like y'all can't be sending text messages on a Sunday. Y'all gotta call me and give me a little time. Because Lord, I gotta work at 8.
But look, you right. 8. What are you doing with your job and getting off at 8? You're supposed to be lazy. You're supposed to be lazy.
Right?
You're supposed to be a welfare mother. You're not supposed to have anything. You're supposed to be a welfare mother.
That's the funny part. When they try to get back at me for the thing, they're always wrong. Somebody told me, they was like, "Oh, look, that is 100% an African nose." I said, "That is 100% Brooks nose."
All right.
And I can trace my lineage to the 1700s on this land, not near African. So y'all can say whatever the hell y'all want to say, but I am 100% Brooke, okay?
And like I said, I'm so sorry. I want to catch it before it goes too far. Brother Tad, can you get that that last comment made by well, not the last one, the one beforehand is by Mac No Mafioso. It was one he made while Sister Keisha was speaking.
Not that one.
Yeah, that one, perfect. Because again, we already know that the facts are not on their side, and it doesn't matter how many facts are presented. You're never gonna change the mind of a bitch ass tether. That's why they're a tether. They're here to undermine, right? They're here to have bad faith conversations and comments. That's why they're gonna keep spamming the chat, and it's not based on anything that's factual or actual history. But I want y'all to look at this comment specifically, because we pushed back on this, during the whole what Sister Brooke has called. I'll let her call it what she wants to call it, right? But this comment right here, they don't even know it, right? He said that to try to undermine what Sister Keisha was saying, even though what she was saying is pure facts. But let's just give Mafioso the benefit of the doubt and say that there's a lot of truth to this comment he made. This is why supporting and buying Black will never mean supporting and buying African or supporting and buying Caribbean. Because when you support an Afro-immigrant business, whether they're Caribbean or whether they're African, your proceeds, your hard-earned foundational Black American dollars, your foundational Black American profits go into the pocket of a foreign business owner that will then take your dollars, funnel them out of the foundational Black American community, and it will go to build up their homelands or their vacation or their retirement homes on their homeland, even though we know most of them don't ever go back. But for the ones that do, they are using foundational Black American dollars to fund their retirement lifestyle. This is why we could never build a community by supporting Afro-immigrant businesses, because they funnel the money out of our communities just like the Asian businesses, just like the Arab businesses, just like the Indian businesses, and just like the white businesses. See, this is one of the things that Pan-Africanism muddied the waters on. This is one of the things that it made blurry for us to see, that because they have melanin, that they are in the same community as us, but we're seeing in real time that they're not, and their political priorities have never been aligned with ours. Thank you, brother, for doing that. I'm sorry, Sister Brooke, for jumping on your time and jumping on your bill.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sister Brooke. The mic is yours.
Gotta unmute.
You're muted. You're muted, sis. You're muted. Still muted.
Sorry, guys. I'm still a little asleep. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We ain't gonna keep you too long. We're gonna wrap it up.
No. I don't mind. I just need a little second. Man, you guys touched on so many points today. I don't even know where to start. And these people in the comments.
Start with Godfrey.
I didn't say enough. My comments have been inundated with people who are trying to discredit me, who are trying to call me out my name, but no one is saying anything about what Godfrey said. Like you said, OG Tad, y'all always talk about he invited us to the Frank show or the Frank stand. That's what you
invited us to the Frank stand.
He invited us to the Frank stand. That's been my response to a lot of them when they saying stuff to me. I'll be like, just eat a dick. Right? It's nothing disrespectful when you say that. Right? Mm-hmm. Because he should be allowed to tell us to eat a dick and we do nothing about it, right? So I'm gonna say it right back to you. You're gonna sit here and talk crazy to me, I'm gonna tell you to eat a dick. And so, this is what the problem is we saw it. Everybody and that's why I played the video for 20 minutes like that. So you could see the whole long conversation that they were having. And then the people they trying to pass off as FBA. And ain't nobody corrected me yet on that dude as far as him being a Hispanic. Ain't nobody corrected me yet. Did you see them pants? Did you see them shoes? Did you see that?
Tight.
The co-host. Right. Talk about he foundational Black American dressed like that. I said, Arriba. I don't know what you talking about.
What Mojo Brooks say, I know you lying.
Right? Dress like that. Talk about he a foundational Black American. So, you know, it just it's crazy to me. The fact that they think that they could talk to us any kind of way and we're supposed to still kumbaya. Fuck out of here. Who the fuck is you talking to?
Now, sis,
like
I want to ask you a question real quick. Did you ever support Godfrey in the past? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I remember having a conversation with my nail tech. As a matter of fact, I remember having a conversation with my nail tech. It was when Godfrey and Lord Jamar had they podcast together, and I can't remember what it was that happened. And I was like, yeah, I love those brothers. And she was like, you know, and she was like, you know, she's like, well, what do you like about them? I was like, Lord Jamar's history in the culture solidifies itself. And Godfrey, I've been watching Godfrey as a comedian on Comic View since I was a kid. Like, I actually like, and you know what's interesting? This is some tea I'm about to spill over here on OG Wisdom that a lot of people don't know. When I shut down the nail shop, Godfrey wanted to interview me. And the only reason I didn't is because when I went to it was so funny because he was in LA and I went to LA like the next week for a wedding. Rest in peace to my cousin. Right? And I'll be saying my family member's name, but my family knows who I'm talking about. So rest in peace to my cousin. I went to a wedding. And so I was actually going to be in LA. And he was like, oh, I would love to interview. But because I was running around, I had to find a Black nail tech in LA. A very nice girl. I went to her house and got my nails done before the wedding. And, you know, I had to do all of these things to get ready for the wedding. I didn't have time. And after that, I think he felt a way about it because I didn't make time. But I wasn't here and you didn't fly me out. I flew out for this wedding, and in fact, it was a marriage vow renewal. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like my cousin's husband had been in the family for years, so it's like you think I'm gonna miss my family? You know what I'm saying? Rededication of they man. No, I was at the wedding. I was busy trying to get ready so I'll be pretty for the wedding. Okay. And so he wanted to interview me. But it never, ever happened. So that tells you right there. Like, I didn't have no animosity toward Godfrey. None whatsoever. Until he started popping shit. And that's the thing. This is what you don't understand. Y'all sitting there talking about, oh, he's always been down, but he's popping shit now. He's being disrespectful now. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a. And notice when he sat there and talked about how Black he is, he never once said what he has done for the Black community. He only talked about what books he read and who he met. How he been to Founders Day. Okay, did you help the, you know what I'm saying, the Muslim community with anything? He helped them do shit. Did you help Dr. Frances Cress Welsing with anything? You ain't help her do shit. Did you help pay for her funeral? You didn't help her family bury her. Tariq Nasheed did that. So when you sit there and you talk, you don't even realize how dumb, like, and that's the thing, it just shows the arrogance. And let me say this too. The way he was disrespecting that woman is on par for his culture. Calling her all kinds of motherfuckers. I helped you motherfuckers. Who the fuck is you talking to, you bitch ass? Yo.
Bree, bro. You brought up a dope point, right? About helping Dr. Frances Cress Welsing too. Because as we stated, you know, me and Sister Keisha done things in this movement for so long.
Come on now.
And when Dr.
I know I'm talking to people who did it.
And when Dr. Frances Cress Welsing transitioned, now this is the funny part. When she transitioned, I organized the bus to take people who want to go to her funeral there. And if anybody can remember her first funeral, we had a big blizzard up and down the eastern seaboard. So her funeral was canceled and postponed.
Wow.
We rescheduled it. I believe I was going back to Africa to do my work over there. So I could not make it. But see, again, it's the work we do. And I'm no big name celebrity. I'm not that. I'm a black man who cares here and on the continent. But see, you don't know what Africa is until you step on Africa. You can read all the books you want. Ain't nothing like that real life experience, smelling the air, feeling the temperature, eating the food, touching the ground, shaking the hands of the people. And also the innocent, naive questions that are asked of you. It's amazing. It is amazing. And as somebody pointed, said in the chat, I don't remember who it was, but they keep talking about capitalism. Let me make this clear for the record. Me, speaking for me, Brother Tad, I am not anti-capitalist. I am not against money. See, this is what keeps you in poverty. When you start thinking money is an energy and a frequency, it's a result of your efforts that you put in with the things you do. Now, I won't sell out my brother and sister for $1 like they do over there across the pond or whatever you want to call it. However, money is a necessary tool because with money, you can feed people. My cousin told me something. He said, anybody who denounced money must not got anybody they got to take care of. And I thought that was profound. Because when you got children, when you got parents you love, when you got bills and expenses, and you want to remove yourself out of poverty, it comes with the mindset and the tool called the dollar. But when people think that when you fight for yourself, when you want compensation for your efforts, you're being a capitalist. I'm be honest with you, I ain't no damn socialist because I don't believe that my money and my efforts should be distributed equitably against people who just laid in the shade under the tree and didn't do nothing but deserve half of what I've earned. You out of your goddamn mind. So when we talk about these Eurocentric concepts and how they got y'all all twisted. Because I won't sell out my brother and sister for $1, but I'm not going to denounce the use and value of money either. But this is why y'all are impoverished. Because if it wasn't for the capital, if it wasn't for the money, why did you run here? I know it wasn't the weather. It's cold in New York. It's hot right now. But shit, let November, December come. It's not your tropical temperature that you're used to. You know, but I don't want to really beat up on. I mean, y'all can, because I want Godfrey to be focused because he was a big disappointment, and then his crash out, his blatant disrespect, even saying "you people," which shows you've delineated. You moved yourself outside of the group, though for years, for decades, you've been cosplaying as being in the group. It's hurtful, it's disingenuous, because I do got continental brothers and sisters that I do love. I do got Caribbean brothers and sisters that I do love and that I do rock with. Because see, what y'all don't understand, and what Brother Devon, Sister Brooks, Sister Keisha, and myself learned, y'all don't know the meaning of the words. Because when we was in the Caribbean space, I asked people, do they know what delineate mean? They did not.
Yeah, nope, sure
Do
did.
you know what tether means? Attach yourself to something. Y'all attach yourself to our movement, our fights, and then try to reap the benefits without putting in the effort and the work. That's what a tether is. If you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me, fine. Stay on your soil. Develop your land. Develop your homeland. Develop your culture. And be disrespectful as all you want. And we can have a competition about who builds what better. But if you're going to come here, cosplay me, attach yourself to what I got going on here, and then be disrespectful, that automatically makes you a tether. But now if you attach yourself to what we got going on here, and you understand the mission and the goal, and you working to move the needle forward, you're not a tether, you're an ally. And you stand in solidarity with us, and we embrace you and respect that and afford you the protection of being down with us. But as long as you're going to tether yourself, come over here, and claim, as Brother Devon said, the identity as African American, you're a tether. So get a dictionary. Get a dictionary, an unabridged collegiate Webster's dictionary, and learn the words. But I'm off my soapbox because our time is running down. We got 15 minutes. Our sister Brooke came in late. But Sister Brooke, please tell them your page, though, where they can get more of your heat.
Yes. Okay. So I am. Before I do the page thing, can I just add this?
Of course.
I want people to remember that Godfrey is a professional impersonator.
That part.
This is no tea, no shade. This is true. He is a professional at impersonating foundational Black or Americans, period. That's what he does. He goes around, he does the Steve Harvey voice really well. Like, remember, he's so good at putting on other people's voices. Steve Harvey, Donald Trump, who else have we seen? And he's been doing this for you since I was a kid. He has been a professional impersonator for years. So it is not far-fetched to see that he has been impersonating us, our talking points, the way we dress, all of these things for years. All while it's so funny because y'all sit there and talk about what us not appreciating your culture, but something else that they talked about on that stupid ass, stank ass show was the fact that their parents used to bring them stuff from like shea butter, and he threw it out. It wasn't until we started appreciating it that you started using it. Same thing they was talking about with the palm oil. Now, I don't use palm oil, so I don't know nothing about that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, knowing the history of how they use palm oil, I don't even know if I want anything to do with it. I'm gonna be honest, because that's what they used to grease down the slaves with before they sold you to the white tea people. So I don't really want nothing to do with that. I just, you know how like holy oil have, well, I already told y'all, I come from a very churchy background. When my mother woke me up every morning with a greasy forehead because she praying in tongues over my head early in the morning. To me, that's how your mama tell you that she love you, because that's what I went through. Right? And so, and that oil, my mom, the oil has, properties because she's prayed over it. And so when I think of palm oil, I think of oil that y'all done did y'all little voodoo on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want nothing to do with that palm oil. But y'all talk about how palm oil is supposed to be healthy and da-da-da-da-da. But again, y'all didn't see any value to it until Whole Foods started selling it.
Mm.
So, I just wanted to point that out to people as they sit there and tell us what we're not appreciating. You don't appreciate your shit until we appreciate your shit. That's on you. So don't sit there and point the finger at us. Okay. You can find me on TikTok at bruck.evenmelanin. You can find me on Instagram at bruck.evenmelanin. You can find me on Twitter at bruck on X. You can find me on YouTube at bruck S. So BREUCK with an S. That's my new YouTube channel, because my old YouTube channel has been shadow banned. So I had to get a new one. So if you following me already on YouTube, follow my new YouTube channel. I'm going to say what up in the chat. Because I got a new one. So I thank you so much. I'm so sorry I'm late. Like I said, I work nights. Please forgive me. It wasn't until I heard, because I be half asleep listening, and I heard President Divine, and I was like, was I supposed to be somewhere? And then I started checking my phone, and I ran and got up and tried to get dressed. You see, my bun is a little lopsided. You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to rush. I was putting on jewelry when you first woke me up. So, I apologize. But I had to be here with my OG Tad on the OG Wisdom podcast, because to get an invitation here was just something that I can't miss out on. So I was rushing to get ready and to be with you guys in the audience. I love you so much.
I appreciate you, sis. Brother Divine, what you want to leave the people with before we get up out of here?
Man, real quick, I seen, a couple names. So I want the family to understand. I know you guys spoke to the name Gerald Horn, I think his name was, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so y'all already spoke to him. So I want to speak to two other names that I saw in the chat. The names of Ajamu Baraka, and the other name was Jared Ball. Both of those are coons. We don't give a fuck about neither one of them. So stop bringing them up or acting like they are some type of expert on something. They're just coonish Pan-Africans. And on that whole socialism / we need to try to save the world before we can get our remedial justice type shit. So stop bringing up these lame ass names. We already know them. We already know they get down like we know your get down. And so just going towards what you just said about capitalism, right? And all the isms, unfortunately, because of how this country was built, any ism that's practiced in this country will never surpass and supersede racism. And that's racism against foundational Black Americans. So all of them can have that particular bias baked into the crust. So it doesn't matter how you try to switch up the seats on the Titanic. It's always going to go down because the foundation of this country is built on the backs of those who are the foundation of it. And that's us, foundational Black Americans. And so, there's a couple of comments in the chat, in addition to what Brother Godfrey said, and I say brother very loosely, and we'll stop saying it after this show. We have to understand that, again, baked into the crust of Pan-Africanism and this blanket blackness and this faux unity of everybody across the planet based on melanin is this infantilization of the diaspora. They are never forced to face the full brunt of accountability for their actions. Godfrey, a grown-ass Nigerian man, said about another grown-ass Nigerian fleer to the UK that fled to the US that David don't know no better. He said that out his mouth. This quote-unquote well-read Nigerian that thinks he's Black said, we just essentially, he knows not what he does. How can we hold him accountable for his xenophobia? How can we hold him accountable for his anti-foundational Black American rhetoric? He don't know. They do the same thing with the continent. All the xenophobia that they import with them to our homeland. All the xenophobia, anti-foundational Black American sentiment in the chat you see right now from these Pan-Africans and Afro-immigrants. They don't know no better. Like, what? We're not going with that bullshit no more. Get up out of here. And in the instance where you truly don't know no better, then go learn better somewhere else. There's no more communal spaces where you get to learn and disrespect us at the same time. And that's quote unquote learn. Because Godfrey and that bullshit ass excuse, I've created a platform where we can just have these mistakes so we could build unity. If that was ever the true aim, where are the foundational Black American guests?
Yep. Not one.
If we're trying to have some level of understanding between the different ethnic groups, shouldn't each ethnic group be represented? You're having these unifying, bettering for the diaspora conversations, all with Africans. And their mistakes are them expressing their anti-foundational Black American bigotry and xenophobia. That you all express when you get in conversations when it's just y'all. And how do we know this, all four of us on this panel right now? Is because we listen to y'all in y'all online spaces or when we see the clips, because we don't come into y'all spaces. But in real life, when you're trying to have these xenophobic spaces in historically foundational Black American neighborhoods, we coming. We are coming. And whenever we get to those spaces, we find y'all having conversations about us without us. Where your main objective is to traffic in the tropes that y'all trafficking in right now in the chat, except when we show up, all of a sudden it gets real quiet. It gets real quiet when we in person. And then all of a sudden it's, well, we need to see the bigger picture of unity. How come we can't all just work together? Wasn't you just calling me an Akata? Wasn't you just saying that my pants is sagging and I'm a criminal? Wasn't you just saying that me expressing my ethnic group is white supremacy because it doesn't big you and your immigrant class up? See, this is the bullshit. This is the bullshit. And again, in closing, I want y'all to pay close attention. I know we don't want, oh man, that's perfect. That's a perfect comment. Y'all never want no confrontation. Y'all never want no smoke. Y'all just want the ability to talk shit and hide your hand afterwards and take no accountability. And if it was just against foundational Black Americans, I might even be able to understand, because I don't want no smoke with other foundational Black Americans, because I'm a foundational Black American and I know what that smoke could look like. So I only want that smoke when the smoke is just an absolute necessity. If it ain't necessary, I might cop a couple of pleas, or at least keep it PC with my own people, because I really don't want that smoke anyway. But y'all don't want confrontation with nobody. Even when it's demanded. Y'all don't want confrontation with them little ass Asians that's coming over there, beating you upside your head with sticks, and you the overwhelming majority. You don't want no smoke with the white supremacists when y'all were the overwhelming majority and still are. Y'all are the overwhelming majority on a continent that bears your name that you call yourselves and want to force onto us, and y'all never have used those numbers to kick those people out of your countries. And even though I respect what they're doing based on an immigration standpoint, I got to come at the necks of the South Africans too. The way y'all going about physically expelling those illegal aliens that are other Africans out of your country, y'all could have did that to the South, to Afrikaners a long time ago too. But you haven't. And now that's y'all business of why y'all haven't, so I won't go too deep. But I got to highlight that because y'all don't want smoke with nobody. Y'all just want to pop shit and then hide behind us when y'all do it. The issue is that y'all took that tactic that y'all usually reserve for all these other immigrants that's not us and these other outside non-Black groups, because y'all will start the shit and then hide behind us, and then we got to fight your battle for you. We're just saying no mas. If you pop shit, you fight your own battle. And damn sure if you pop shit with us, expect a battle, because there's no more melanin passes. We ran out. They went the way of the Metro card. We only got Omni card smoke for you. You pop shit, we will swipe your ass.
Yeah.
And I'll land there.
Sister Keisha, what do you want to leave the people with?
Man, y'all better leave us alone.
Shit.
You better get on the right side. You know, if you claim to know our history, you know for fact that you need to get on our side. While enslaved and free, because my lineage, I have enslaved and free, going back to the early 1700s. Where is your lineage? My ancestors been on this soil before your countries had a name, before you claimed to have had independence, while you still didn't have light. Our lineage made it. Just about every modern convenience you use today, we created. Don't get mad. Catch up. We don't want socialism. Go in your homeland and get it over there. It don't work. That's why you fled to capitalism and still living in it. I'm not with the double talk, and I'm not with the craziness. But catch us every week on Thorough Black Talk, Worldview, where we go in heavy. Y'all have a good week and stay safe and dangerous at the same time.
Brother Tad, can I ask you a quick question real quick?
Sure.
Is New York 4276, is that the resident troll of the podcast? Is that who that is?
Yes.
No, so I just want to say this real quick, because they always talk about, we don't got no power, we can't unite. Yo, you Pan-Africans and you tethers come into the chat actually got the resident troll of the station on call with us. He rocking with us. That's right. The power. See, that's what y'all don't understand about the stuff that y'all do. All y'all doing when y'all show y'all true colors and y'all show y'all true xenophobic ass is y'all getting the rest of us that might have some little differences with each other, might be on some trolling shit with one another. You get us on code because you expose the truth to all of us. And we like, man, I don't even identify as a foundation Black American, but I see the bullshit you Afro immigrants and tethers are trying to pull right now, and I'm with it. Y'all don't understand that all this anti-Black shit y'all doing is only pushing us Black folks closer together. So keep it up. Either way, we gonna get there. But understand that you are powerless to stop it, and most of your actions only force us to come together closer and quicker. So thank you on that note.
Just one thing real quick. I want to clarify. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing was not a Pan-Africanist.
No,
she was Black. And I can say that because I knew her. Still have a phone number saved in my phone. So don't say things that you're not sure of. You may think it, but she wasn't. And most of those you look up to were not Pan-Africanists. They were pro-Black. There is a difference.
That's right. Difference between a Black nationalist and a Pan-Africanist. And I am a Black nationalist. I am a revolutionary Black nationalist. But family, we get ready to wrap it up, but I definitely want to give a shout out because I seen that this was definitely a productive broadcast today, because I seen we have changed some hearts and minds for those who weren't too clear on the position of FBA, and now they are. So shout out to Hillbilly Negro, Jahala, and other people who, now that we done had this dialogue, they get to understand us a little more clear, because we are not the echo chamber of Tariq Nasheed. For those who may not know, me and Sister Keisha were diehard Pan-Africans here in the New York tri-state area. However, we seen that many people weren't serious and it wasn't serving our interests on what we're doing here in the U.S. soil. Also, the anti-Black American sentiment that existed. So we divested ourselves, okay? We definitely want to thank our usual suspects, our sister Farnessa, our brother New York 4276. Y'all want to play in the chat? Our brother New York going to be on your back. Please don't play with him. He will be on your line. Shout out to our brother C Gutter, who's out on assignment, and the real C Gutter, not no fake dude. Shout out to Kimmit TV, who been proving our point. What's our brother Picasso? It's your first time here. We thank you. Hopefully you'll be back next Sunday to rock out with us. And everybody else who found value in here, tag Godfrey, forward it to him. If he want to have anybody on this panel, if you want to challenge anything he said, I'm quite sure my brother Divine, Sister Keisha will be more than happy to oblige him, because I'm still working on me, my patience. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still a work in progress, because what I saw with him, it was painful, especially as somebody who used to support the brother and thought he had a basic understanding and grip on what our position is, that he would be a bridge to unify the gap that exists within us. But what he did was prove to be a drawbridge, and he done leveled up the platform. He provided and further divided the gap that already existed. You would think he would give pushback, but he thought it was funny. And as Brother Divine said, if he really wanted to have an honest conversation, why didn't he have foundational Black Americans on his platform so that we can have a real honest conversation and come to some agreement, like we did with people in the chat, like Hillbilly Negro and Jahala, and anybody else who may came in resistant, but, kind of see our point. Because again, it's really not anti-African hate. It's just the anti-African hate, the anti-ignorant African hate. Because like I said, I got some continental brothers and sisters, Caribbean brothers and sisters that I will fight beside, who I would lock arms with, because they get it. They get it. They are honest about it. And just as Jules, who was here on the platform from Nigeria, who was honest about it. See, we're not going to get to no resolution if we're not going to have honesty. So with that, family, hopefully you inspired by something you heard here today. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. We be back here next Sunday at 2 p.m. And don't forget to check us out every Thursday on Thorough Black Talk Worldview, Thursdays at 8 p.m. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. and we will catch y'all next week. Peace.